Hi, I'm Nellie Steele. Come warm up by the fire with me as I read a scene from Bet on a Billionaire. She narrowed her eyes at him. You brought me to the sapphire room to reassure me about my manuscript's acceptance? He polished off another piece of the tender meat and set aside his utensils, leaning closer to her. No, not quite. My business with you revolves around the other part of the interview. Julia paused, her muscles stiffening subtly, but enough for a practiced eye like Grant's to notice. That was a mistake. I don't think it was. Grant held her gaze for a moment longer than most people were comfortable with. Julia finally broke contact, letting her eyes slide back to the lobster on her plate. I was there for my manuscript only. I'm sorry for the confusion, but I hadn't meant to apply for your contest. It wasn't a contest. She flicked her gaze back to him. He shook his head to add weight to the statement. The thing is, I need your help. The crinkle in Julia's brow betrayed her confusion, but the interruption of the waiter meant she'd have to wait for her answer. Grant couldn't have timed it better. The vague statement hung between them as the waiter inquired about dessert. Julia politely declined, but Grant made certain they topped off their champagne glasses, the spark of hope still floating in his heart like the bubbles in the glass. As the waiter stepped away, Julia made her best attempt to put the conversation to bed. Well, thank you for a lovely meal, Mr. Harrington. Grant, he interrupted, leaning closer to her, and that sounds like an evening-ending statement. But this evening is just beginning. Her lips fell open as she searched for words. I don't see how I can help you. Don't you? He searched her face before he explained further. I don't see how. He lifted his glass of champagne. I'd love the opportunity to explain. She gave him a slight nod, opening his way to make the offer. I'm not looking for the next Mrs. Harrington because I'm lonely. Sadly, the future of my business hinges on me changing my image a little. I'm sure you understand branding with your author business. I stand to lose everything if I can't change my image. The company I built will be ripped away from me. And you expect I can help rebrand you? She asked. I know it. A soft laugh escaped her, tentative to start, as if she weighed the absurdity of the situation. Grant joined her in the laughter, and her chuckle deepened, genuine amusement lighting her features. So what do you say? He asked when their laughter died down. She flicked those blue eyes to meet his, the amusement still on her face. I think you might be crazy. He shook his head, still grinning at her. Nope, definitely not. You're perfect. He let the last word hang between them as she reddened again, allowing the conversation to lull as he searched for words. Silence stretched between them before he broke it, his urgent words tumbling from his lips in a desperate attempt to make her see the gravity of his need. Let me be completely honest with you, Julia. This is not a game. It's my entire life. Indulge me for a moment. When I took over Harrington Holdings as a young man, we owned a significant amount of assets, but nothing compared to the empire I've built. Julia's features settled into a neutral expression. She didn't understand or have any interest. I built Harrington Global piece by piece, painstakingly over the years. This isn't about corporate greed, it's about corporate pride. The business I slaved to build is being threatened, and along with me, the mismanagement I know will happen could cost thousands of people their livelihoods. Her features softened as he continued his plea. Will you help me, Julia? Julia sat speechless for a few moments before she started to shake her head. He grabbed her hand and squeezed, and she froze as he spoke, plastering on a poker face that made her unreadable. I'm being serious, and I have a very enticing offer if you'll agree to play the role of Mrs. Harrington. In return for you standing by my side, helping me reestablish my claim to the CEO role at Harrington Global for 1 year, I will pay you $5 million. Julia's eyes went wide, but a millisecond later, he felt her hand begin to slide away from his. He was losing the battle, and he needed a play, quick. And I will guarantee your manuscript will be published. She stopped, the newest addition to the deal sweet enough for her to consider, so he went in for the kill. He let his eyes rise to hers. Please, Julia, will you help me? Will you marry me? Thanks for joining me by the fire. If you'd like to spend more time in this world, the full audiobook is available now. Written by me, narrated by a human, and produced by a Novel Idea Publishing.